It says we have blocked our account. Yes. Well, that makes sense. Hello. I'll go look at my calendar. Hello. It might just be because they're not letting us hear them yet. Maybe it's just because it doesn't start to. That door for me. Hello.
I just set my option.
Oh, okay.
The right spot.
Okay, yep, that's good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Uh-huh.
Okay, everyone. We do have a little bit of an echo, but that's okay. We'll get rid of it. We're going to get started about 2:30. So if you're already on the call, and I see we've already have a few folks that's joined us, we will get started at 2:30, and shouldn't be a long afternoon. So Jennifer will be in just a few moments. She is on another call. Imagine that. But just stay tuned, and remember, if you don't hear her talking in a little bit, that we are here. We are just getting everything set up. Thank you. I know some of you've put in the chat, there is no sound. We were on mute. We're just waiting for Jennifer to get in. It's about 2:26. She is on her way, marching around as we speak. So give her a few minutes to get logged in and then we'll get started.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted now. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Let's see, we've got 200, about 20 on the call, but it's going up. So let's let it level off a second so that hopefully everybody hears from the beginning. I know sometimes that's not the case, and that's okay. Just gonna about.
Krista says I look different. Kendra's picture is up by my name. Tell her I'm losing weight and getting younger. I'm getting younger.
That's funny. Your face is on Dana's name.
I'm gonna start changing my face and it rotated every time. You need this from your laptop.
Okay.
I'm working so far. I've got the chat and the.
Okay. Looks like we are, let's just go ahead and get started. We have a couple slides and we'll go ahead and go through those. I know the main reason you're on today is you're hoping I have breaking news regarding how you're going to do your low income, how you're going to do your verification. Are we going to be doing reviews? Among other things, I know. Unfortunately, USDA has not given us guidance yet. I don't know when they're going to give it to us. The only thing I've been told that it is now in the Office of General Counsel, they call it OGC, Office of General Counsel in Washington, D.C., which getting, I guess, maybe the final okay to go out. But as of right this minute, second, I have nothing. But we are going to do just a brief call. If you guys have questions, we'll get to them. We're going to go through these couple of slides just really quick, and then I'm just going to do a couple housekeeping things, friendly reminders during this whole time.
Still have people saying they don't have sound.
Oh, no sound. Okay, hold on. We're going to see if we can figure, Dana's going to check something on her end. You can, Kendra? Okay, so our office can hear, and a few of the others are saying they can, so it might be an individual computer issue on your end. Our office is hearing everything. Okay. Okay, so someone just said, click the arrow next to the unmute button to check the speakers on your computer. And then we have had luck before with if you all log out and log back in, that sometimes resolves it as well. And if you hear beeping on my end, we have all kinds of stuff going around our office outside. We're having our windows cleaned in the building outside. We're having construction in our courtyard area outside. So there's all kinds of earth moving machines around us right now. So I apologize for that. I do go home at night sometimes thinking constant beeping in my head. So, because I can hear it in my office as well. We're in the conference room right now, but okay. So someone just said they logged off and logged back on and they could hear. Okay, so I'm going to move forward again with the slides. I have no breaking information for you. I wish I did. We went back and forth about maybe canceling the call versus having the call, and we just felt like we needed to go ahead and have it to answer any questions and just to give you guys some refreshers. So the first slide is, there's really not any new information because we currently have not received guidance from USDA regarding we're going to do the low income report this year, how the verification report's going, or verification in general is going to start this year. And we don't have any information on if we as a state agency will be doing reviews, how we are supposed to do those, since right now we're not operating under NSLP. We're operating under SSO, which is an extension of NSLP or SFSP. So lots of questions still remain, and they tell us that guidance is coming. It's apparently in the Office of General Counsel in Washington, D.C. for our programs. I'm assuming getting the okay to be sent out. So
should they go ahead and start verification tomorrow?
you know, verification typically starts October 1. It's your total number of applications on file as of October 1. I think if I were in your shoes right now and I was a director at a school, I would go ahead and start verification. That may or may not be what you want to hear, but I think it will keep you ahead of the game just in case. And if you remember, just in case has panned out a little bit for us so far this year, because when you were asking us when the application rolls out, should we do SSO? Because we had all gotten information, only NSLP, and then boom, all of a sudden we have these waiver extensions. So if guidance comes out tomorrow, if guidance comes out tonight, we would get a call scheduled with you guys just to make sure you have the information. It may tell us you don't do it this year. I don't know. I don't know that right now. I think though, if I was in your shoes as a director at a school district, I would move forward with it with the few and I don't know, some of you maybe have had really good luck getting applications from your parents and students, and some of you maybe haven't. And I totally get it, because why do they want to fill out a form when they're getting the meals for free? I'm sure you're struggling with that at your district as well. Fact of the matter is, you still need to continue to work and push to get applications, because if in basically January, the end of December, if we do not get those waiver extensions and we go back to National School Lunch in January for the rest of the school year, you are going to need those applications for those students. So, we'll go to the next slide and we'll get to the chat with questions in just a few minutes. Go ahead, Dana, or do I need to No, you got it. Okay. So just a reminder, we've had a lot of calls in here lately about, we get obviously complaints, we get commendations too. Don't think we don't, but we do. But lately, a lot of complaints have been coming in. I know you guys are doing your dead level best to do what you're doing right now. I understand that. I truly do. But please keep in mind, these are just reminders to you all. Meal patterns for SSO and SFSP still have to be met unless you have an approved waiver for meal pattern flexibility to waive a component that you've turned into your area consultant. We've been having complaints that the meals are not, and these are not our words. These are the words that we're getting in phone calls. And we also know there's two sides to every story, so don't think for a minute we don't realize that. Not editable and not real pleasing. I completely understand that right now in a grab and go setting, it's hard to do some meals. We get that. But we're hearing complaints of, all my kid got was an Uncrustables type sandwich and pickles, a carton of juice, and a carton of milk. That can be made better. There's something better that can be placed there. So again, not blaming anyone, just reminders. I know you're doing your absolute best, but we also have to make sure that for the meals you're being reimbursed for with federal funds, they're meeting meal patterns. That's a lot of pickles to serve for a vegetable. So if you're sending meals home on a Friday for Saturday and Sunday, and those meals consist of possibly heating up something, and they're not just shelf stable, there is something that needs to be heated up, you must be sending home food safety instructions on how they need to be reheated. We have said that all along in these calls. It can be fairly simple. You know, you get home, these need to be refrigerated within this amount of time. When you reheat the next day, reheat to a proper temperature. I realize they're not taking temperatures at home. I get that. That piece of paper is simply to cover you and your district for any liability issues. That's what it's for. Because if they come back to you for a food safety issue, you can say, boom, this is what I gave them and this is what they were told to do. You've got some you've covered yourself there. I think it's been referred to as CYA before. Just trying to make it a little bit lighter, sorry.
Just a little acronym there.
We like acronyms in child nutrition. So also, I've got to move my little slide down. There we go. That's much better. Menus, you post your menus on your school website. You still need to post menus. You should still be doing that and letting them know what meals, what is being offered at meals and what components are there. So that still needs to be something you do. Okay, next slide. Okay, so we've had a lot of calls also on what do I do if I have cafeteria staff that have to quarantine or get COVID and I don't have enough cafeteria staff. Can other people help serve? Could an aide, a pre-K aide that maybe isn't in the classroom right now, could they come help? So number one is you need to check with your local health department on this as well, because the health department is who requires the food handler's permit and that type of thing. We look into some of that when we're there, but we really focus on, are the right quantities served? Is the food being held at the proper temperature, being cooked or heated to the proper temperature? Are meal patterns being met? That type of thing. So always check with your health department on that. Meal patterns would still need to be followed. I'm not saying that others can't help, but please reach out to your health department about that. There always are resources in our child nutrition manual on pages CM 8 and 9. It gives the breakfast and lunch meal patterns that you would be using for Seamless Summer, which is also National School Lunch, School Breakfast. And then the summer feeding, that can be found on our website as well. If you search under the SDE website, under summer feeding, the meal patterns are there. They follow along very closely to the CACFP meal patterns. And those are also within that website as well. Was there a third bullet there? No. Okay. Yeah. Claims. A lot of you have been submitting your claims, which is great. SSO or SFSP, the application must be approved before you can enter a claim. And we are getting really close to having all of those done. So be sure and check your, pardon me, 43 left? Awesome. We have
Of the ones that have been submitted.
Of the ones that have been submitted, we have 43 left to approve. So we're getting really close. Always check your emails because that's really how we're communicating with you. Some phone calls obviously too, but we have to have an approved application. Our systems don't allow it any other way. Approved application before a claim. And double check to make sure the correct, you're entering it and your claim under the correct program and month before you submit it. Remember right now, SSO, you need to select SSO in the drop-down box. This one is just a reminder repeat slide, how to proceed with claims if you entered it under National School Lunch. So we kind of did a Q&A. I already submitted my National School Lunch August claim. Can I unsubmit it myself? And the answer is yes. You may unsubmit the claim yourself. First, you must go to the View Claim Summary page and click at the bottom, Unsubmit SFA Claim. Then you'll return to your NSLP site claim, whichever one you're trying to do. It might be elementary, middle, or high school, and click Unsubmit Site Claim. And as a note, the View Claim Summary is the big claim, district-wide claim that sends it up to us. The View Claim Summary. And then the next one is I unsubmitted my NSLP August, but the numbers of meals and dollars amounts are still there. Can I delete them? And the numbers, those will remain there. Unsubmitting the View Claim Summary and site claims is all that you need to do. Sorry, I had to move all my stuff on my screen around a little bit. Okay, and coming up, the week of October 12th through the 16th is the National School Lunch Week. You're not required to do anything for this. I know in normal circumstances, pre-COVID, a lot of you out there did do different things throughout the week for National School Lunch Week. There's a link on the slide that has ideas. Is that what it has? School lunch?
It's the SNA website that has a toolkit.
Okay.
Everything.
It's an SNA website that has a toolkit for National School Lunch Week this year, is what that is. If you guys are still going to do anything exciting, USDA is always asking us for names of districts. And so feel free to submit that to us. We would pass it along. But just, again, not a requirement, just a reminder. We always remind this lunch week and breakfast week when it comes. It's what, in March normally? Yeah.
2:37 is where the questions start.
Okay, and that was the last slide?
That's the last.
Okay.
The
All
other
right.
one just says questions.
Okay, give me just a second to scroll down in the questions. 237?
2:37.
Okay. Should we go ahead and pull our numbers on 10-1 for percentages, even though we have not reached our 30 days? As far as for verification, yes, that starts October 1, regardless of your 30-day carryover. So yes, you would. Yes, a lot of schools have had a tough time getting applications, Laura. I am still rounding up applications, but still missing a lot. Yes, that is the case in most places. We've been hearing that.
Okay, Rebecca, what is she talking about rounding up applications?
Getting them, collecting them.
Okay. Rounding. Okay.
Rebecca, I want to make sure I'm clear. You're rounding up wording. That means getting them, collecting them, obtaining them, right? Just want to make sure. I didn't misunderstand something.
I went to the rounding up to 3%.
Oh, okay. Okay. Dana was thinking rounding up as far as your percentage for verification. So maybe, okay. So Sheila says we are giving out hotspots and they have to qualify for free and reduced to get them. So they are filling them out. Okay. If you have no sound, okay, let me go back there. We received an actual hard copy check for the August claim. Thought that was strange, but we'll take it. Tammy, I can address that. I actually went and got that and mailed it to you last week. You received a paper warrant because we just haven't had a chance to get your banking information into our treasurer's department side for summer feeding. You've never participated in summer feeding before, and so therefore that banking information, we have to enter it for childcare in one place, for school in one place, and for summer in one place in the treasury department. And so it just hasn't gotten updated. Again, you got your payment. Hopefully before your next one, it will have been updated. So I can address, I know exactly what happened there. When do we have to send in a new application for summer feeding? It will open up, we're hoping Friday. Edgar and Dee are testing it right now. And again, if you don't remember, summer feeding system only used to work for May through August because we never use summer feeding any other time of the year except May through August. Well, COVID changes things apparently, and now summer feeding, we have made our system to where it can be used for all months. And so that took what they call an enhancement to the system, and they've been doing that in the background. They have pushed that to what we have to go through first is test. We have to test and make sure it works properly before they will push it to production. So it is being tested as we speak, and fingers crossed, maybe tomorrow, but last I heard it would be Friday. So we will let you all know that, but yes, that we are, oh yes, we had to make an adjustment to our system for all this. Where does the school district go to mark provision 2 for the student to get the EBT? Okay, so let me just address what I can about the PEBT. Okay, so part of the CARES Act funding originally back in, gosh, March now, there was legislation written for pandemic EBT. And what it did was it gave students who during that time frame, last March through May, when school was out, officially out, like the district between, the state board said school can be out between May 8th through the 15th. And that's when somewhere in that time frame, your school district stopped school for last school year. So based on the March 13th, and I think they used the May 15th date, there were approximately 44 days, and I don't have that information in front of me, so I am winging it here. And for those 44 days, USDA wrote legislation that said when school was not in session for those days because of COVID, that free and reduced students could receive the amount of a free lunch and free breakfast, which came to about $5.44. I could be off a penny, just don't quote me on that amount, but that's roughly it. Times 44 days, which came to about $250 and some change. So DHS, that money, that went through DHS. DHS had to submit a plan to USDA to be approved. The reason that we were included in that plan, the State Department of Education, is because we had to provide the data, which has also been called the list. Okay, so when you guys enter your kids into your child nutrition system as free and reduced, you may or may not have the same system for child nutrition that you do for student information system that your district keeps student data in. Sometimes those are the same, sometimes they're different. If they're different, they're supposed to communicate. And I'm looking at Dana because she and I have been dealing with this a lot, and I want to make sure I'm saying the right things. Those two systems have to communicate. Then the other thing that has to happen is your student information system, what you report in your student information system has to be uploaded into the WAVE with no errors. So DHS told our data folks, here's the query we need for this PEBT. And it was obviously name of student. We have in there, if the student's free or reduced, student first name, last name, address, city zip, parent first name, last name, guardian first name, last name, address, zip, etc. So there was a query that was run, that was pulled from the student information system that the district uploads into our WAVE. That's where all the data is maintained, is in the WAVE. So that query was run, and what we have found is there were apparently instances that what was in the student information system may or may not have reflected free or reduced to the WAVE. Therein lies issues. We have gone back and forth multiple times over this over the last several weeks. I know that you all may have a student as free and reduced on your child nutrition system, but again, what was put into the student information system at times appears to not have been correct. Now, I can also say, I'm going to give you another example of when I say they don't communicate or they're not reported properly. There was a charter school that all their free and reduced, all their kids were free and reduced. That was in their child nutrition system, free and reduced. What they reported to the WAVE for those students was paid. Therefore, all those kids were left off that data list because what was pulled from the data from the WAVE was free and reduced. So that's an example of if it's not reported to the WAVE properly, because the child nutrition system doesn't report to the WAVE. Is that a true statement, Dana? Okay. Yeah.
One that I know of.
It's the student information that's system, SIS, also known as SIS, SIS, is uploaded into the WAVE. Now, that's really all I can discuss about that. That's all I don't have a list in this office because it's an electronic database. We are not allowed to maintain student level data anywhere in this agency. It all has to be done electronically. We're not allowed to know that. I don't know any of your students at your school I don't know anybody. I can't look up a name from Mustang Public Schools and know if that child's free, reduced, or paid. I don't have access to any of that. So that's really all I can go with. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the chat. And I'm to 244 now. Tomorrow is the date to reapply for summer feeding. Yes, but again, like I said a few minutes ago, we had to do an enhancement to our system, and hopefully that will roll out Friday. There's a slim chance it might roll out tomorrow. Do we include applications we receive tomorrow, or do we cut it off today? Tomorrow, as of October 1 for verification. So I have some kids who are on carryover status from last school year. Do I change them to full pay if I didn't receive a new application? If you don't receive a new application by the 31st operating day of school, they go to paid. That is correct. Okay, thank you, Rebecca. I thought that was the case. Okay, glad that I was able to do that, Tammy. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully for September, it'll get updated. You will get a payment regardless, but just letting you know. Do Provision B schools have to do the student applications? I think you mean two. Provision 2 schools have to do applications, student applications. It depends if this is your base year, Megan. You might want to reach out to your area consultant and talk to them about that. But it's either Provision 2 or 3. If it's your base year, you would be collecting applications. But if it's not your base year meaning your first year to do Provision 2 or 3, you would not have to get applications. What I said about verification at the very beginning was, if I was in your shoes, because I have zero guidance from USDA at this point in time right now, if I was in your shoes as a director of a school, I would go ahead and start my verification. That way, just in case, you're working on that process. Pam, do you know if the pull that is normally done on October 1st that the district gets their funds from is going to happen?
For state aid, I don't know.
If you're referring to state aid, I honestly don't know. Someone needs to reach out to your accreditation officer and talk to them. That October 1st report is an accreditation report. Okay, you've heard that. I have heard that too, Dan, but until I have it in writing, I can't go with it. But yes, I am hearing that as well. Yeah. We have students getting PEBT cards that did not qualify March through May. Again, I've said what I know as far as PEBT. I'm not trying to avoid it. That's what I know, and that's all I can speak to at this point. Sequoia Schools, Tahlequah. What I know about that is that's because Sequoia Schools don't report to the WAVE. They report to a different system because of the type of school they are. I had this conversation with another district like you. I'm drawing a blank. It'll probably come to me in a minute. Probably. Ours doesn't, and even kids that were free didn't get a card. I'm being told our SIS pulls from our software, and they would. Oh, okay. That's the first I've heard of that. Excuse me. That's good to know, Pam. That's the first I've heard. Oh, okay. That's the first I've heard of that though, Pam. DHS is telling people, yeah, we've had a conversation with them about that, and we were told it would stop. Has it continued this week? That was on Friday. Yeah, it's very frustrating. I completely agree. Carryover status students are not to be counted in October 1 totals.
They're not to be counted in their verification, because verification is based on current applications in the current school year.
Carryover students wouldn't be counted because it's based on current applications, current school year applications. If we are on SSO and want to go SFSP, do we need to fill out both applications out, one to renew SSO or just one? You can only claim in one of those programs. So if you're currently doing SSO, and would like to switch to summer feeding, you need to reach out to Dee Houston in this office and let her know so that she can get you on the list to get you the application when the new one does roll out for October, which should be again in the next day or two. Oh, today, interesting. And Pam got one today too. Okay, I will let who I need to let know. I said to call, okay. Calls because they told to call us. Okay, I will.
Tell them I got 2 calls today too.
Okay, got a few calls today. All right. Dina Johnson, I would have to check on that. There's 2 Dinas in a row, so that's why I specified a last name. I'm just making a note. Sorry about that question. If we went to serving back in the cafeteria, how do we go back to offer versus serve? Just like you would normally. You don't have to do it for anyone elementary and middle school, but you would have to do it for your high school students if you're back in the cafeteria. So you would want to adjust your application in CARS to reflect that as well. If you are a CEP school, should all of the students be put in the wave as free? Okay, Dana.
Okay.
If they're a CEP school, no, you're not going to put them in as free. You're going to put them in as there's
Should be economically
as
disadvantaged.
you need to get an economically disadvantaged form on them. Those economically disadvantaged forms are used for computing other funding because you're not getting a free and reduced application in a CEP school.
But they should have a place to mark.
But your system should have a place for you to put them in if they're economically disadvantaged. Debbie, let's see. Deborah, I want to share with everyone that municipal accounting is able to clear out student lunch balances for August and September at no cost to the district. We had ours done and Mass did a great job. Good. Thank you for letting us know that. We had a lot of those questions on the call 2 weeks ago. Regina, reach out to your area consultant for your school district. No, CEP does not do verification. Etrition cleared out August and September at no charge. Okay, good to know. If our school doesn't report to the wave, why do I do the direct certification report? Well, you just pull that report for any, there's nothing you do with the direct certification report. It's just a report you pull.
Qualify those children for free meals.
What'd you say?
You qualify those children.
Well,
for
yeah,
free
I mean, if
meals.
they're on the direct cert list, they would receive free meals. Oh, are we at the end?
Thought something was wrong with my computer.
You've got to pull direct cert 3 times a year. That's regulatory.
We're going to be setting up some ABVMs.
Oh, there's going to be some ABVM workshops.
Probably 1st of November and
1st
December.
of November and December for anybody that feels they need to. You can pull more than 3 times a year, yes. But that's the minimum you have to pull. And yes, but regulatory you have to pull 3 times a year. But yes, we encourage at certain times, especially right now, to pull it more often. So, but again, we're going to do some Zoom ABVM meetings here coming the first part of November and December. So we will be doing that. Where can I find an updated chart to use for family income verification? So you need an income eligibility chart. You can find it on CARS under other documents. There's one. Our child nutrition manual, there's one in our child nutrition manual as well under eligibility.
Like E95 on the eligibility.
Dana thinks it's page E95 of the eligibility manual,
Close in there somewhere.
or right around that area. Okay. All right, so keep in mind, I had a couple notes here I didn't. I talked about food safety. I talked about cafeteria illness. Just keep in mind the waivers. If you're doing non-congregate feeding, there's a waiver. If you're doing any meal pattern flexibility, there needs to be an approved waiver. If you're doing meal times, if you're doing multiple meal times at a time, you need to do a waiver for that. Parent pickup, you need to do a waiver for that. So you need to get with your area consultant regarding those items if you don't have one. Meeting meal patterns, again, you still need to do meal patterns and meet meal patterns. The waivers aren't on the website anywhere. You reach out to your child nutrition area consultant. And for those of you who, Pat Gower was your consultant, Friday's her last day, she's retiring. We have hired Sandy Bullard from Poto, but she's moving from there into Pat's territory. So she will have Lincoln, Pottawatomie, and Oklahoma County, right? Did I say that right? Okay. So she comes from Poto Public Schools and has many years of experience. She has Pat's phone number, work cell phone number. So that will be the same. And her email, I will type right now. Whoops. She obviously knows a lot about schools on the school side of it. She's learning our side of it, but I know that she'll be able to answer some questions, but please bear with her while she learns everything else that she gets to learn. I just put her email in the chat. So if you're in Lincoln, Pottawatomie, or you had Pat and you are in Oklahoma County, Sandy Bullard is your new field consultant. We already have waivers in place. Do we need to complete again after October 1st? No, you do not. You'll have to do the application for summer feeding, but not the waivers. No.
That seems to be it.
Okay. What about the SSO review question? Oh, I'm sorry. I did see that and then I didn't go back to it. Just a second.
I missed it too, sorry. The 3-week SSO review needs to be filled out.
Okay, but at least.
It's at 308.
Oh, I went way too far. Hang on.
Oh, how often do the 3-week? They just have to fill them out one time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they're
How,
asking
once you do your 3-week SSO review, you're good. You're good. Sorry about that, Sophia. And I think I might have missed another one up here. Oh, Dane, I think you answered a line.
I did. Somebody
Okay.
asked again about the verification.
Okay.
And I just said we recommend you start.
Okay. SSO, if someone private messaged me, our SSO reviews, if you were up for a regular AR this year, which again, I don't know yet how that's going to pan out. We may do them distance virtual desk review, or we may be allowed to absorb those into the next year. I'm waiting on guidance on that with all the other guidance we're waiting on. But if you were up for review this school year, 2021, we would need to do an SSO review. And part of me thinks they'll go ahead and have us at least do those. They may tell us we have to move forward with reviews. Again, I don't know. I'm waiting with some of that as you are. At this point, Becky, there's nothing we can do about those PEBT cards. I've been told by DHS the benefits have all been issued. Okay. Okay. I don't want to keep you all. I know you're busy people and I know you have many things to do. And so since that's really all we've got, we're going to go ahead and get off for this call for this week. If we are to get guidance from USDA, we will schedule a call before the next 2 weeks. And I do truly expect it before 2 weeks. And I'm going to eat my words probably for saying that, but I really do expect it before 2 weeks. Again, we just want to tell you, thank you for everything you're doing. We know you're working as hard as you can and doing everything you possibly can. And I know everybody's tired, but you guys just keep on keeping on. And thank you for everything you're doing. So we'll see you in 2 weeks, if not before. And I think we're going to see each other before. So everybody have a good evening and we will see you soon. Thank you.